What's going on, guys? Let's talk outdoors. Just got through getting in some practice shooting from my actual stand, my XOP stand here in a tree that's actually located in my backyard. And I just pretty much decided that, I want to shoot a video talking about a couple of tips and things that you can do to prepare yourself for deer season 2022, man. It's right around the corner here in Oklahoma. It's going to start in October 1st to be exact, is when archery season opens up. So, this is a video I've been thinking about shooting for a while now, but I just decided, why not? I'm already here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and run through the list real quick and just give you guys, I'm gonna go try to do 10 tips and see what you guys think. Leave it in the comments, see what you guys think, if there's anything different that you do that you wanna share with others to make them better and make yourself better, because you're gonna get some feedback from them too. Put it in the comments, man. Once again, that's what it's all about here at Let's Talk Outdoors. We're gonna learn from each other, and do it, having fun and make each other better, you know what I mean? So just get started off real quick. Just to start us off, I want to tell you about, first off, this is not about your bow setup. This is pretty much post equipment selection, if that makes sense. Everybody gets so caught up on, bows and arrows and broadheads. All that stuff is good. Obviously, it's all necessary, right? But one thing I want to hit home with my top 10 list real quick is the things you're going to do preparing yourself for the season. What are you guys doing to prepare yourself for the season? I asked the same question last year going into 2021, and I got some really good feedback, man. Guys were really talking about, the things that they do and the reason why, and then they started thinking about some of the things that they do and the reason why they shouldn't, you know what I mean? So that's always good to know. So that's what we're going to talk about on this list real quick. Top 10 things that, in my opinion, you should do going into bow season. Again, this is not about bow equipment. This is not about your bows. It is about bow equipment to a certain extent, but it's not about bows in particular. So let's just get into it and we'll go from there. Number 10, starting now. All right, guys, starting the countdown off with number 10. Okay, number 10 is something that a lot of guys probably do while hunting. I'm not sure how many people actually practice it. It's something I started doing last season, going into 2021, and it's definitely helped me out a lot. I've came a long way. Number 10, grunting and shooting while practicing. Again, everybody, uses a grunt, their personal grunt, the map, if you want to call it the map call, whatever you want to call it. Everybody does it. But how many of you guys are actually practicing it? And how many of you guys notice that whenever you do it, that you may move a little bit and those pins might float a little bit, right? That's just me. I mean, maybe I'm the only one, but I know when I'm up here practicing, I'll do that map call, and every now and then, now I'm still getting used to it, but every now and then I'll map and that pin will float and I'll have to wait for it to settle and then fire. So number 10, grunt and shoot, man. That's something you guys need to think about. Make sure you're actually holding that bow as still as possible, not death gripping it, but holding it as still as possible, keeping that pin where it's supposed to be, and that way you can fire the best accurate shot possible for yourself and for the deer, man. Also, we know that it's about the deer as well as much as for us and our families, right? Like, we want to protect these deer and make sure we shoot the best accurate and ethical shot there is. So grunt and shoot, number 10. Number 9, practicing not shooting the arrow. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is retracting the arrow back to its resting position. I should throw my bow on and show you guys really quick, but I don't have my release on. I'm just gonna go through these really quick for you guys, but just to give you an idea, just to simulate it, I've already drew back and I'm holding that arrow right there in a drawback position, and I'm ready to fire, okay? But all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I have to put my arrow down and give myself some time. Maybe I've been holding my draw for a long time and I need a break, or maybe I don't have the shot that I want, so I'm not taking any more, and I'm surrounded by deer and I want to be as quiet as possible, so I'm just going to slowly retract that arrow right back to where it came from. Really, really important, man. Really practice that, because you just never know what scenarios you're going to come across in the woods. That's one in particular that you don't come across that often, I don't think, but it's good to know how to do it. And it's not something that you really necessarily practice. Maybe once, twice, maybe even 3 times. You get in the stand, or when you come out to shoot practice shots, you'll do the practice retracting, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the exact word for it, but maybe you want to come out and practice that a few times, and then once you know how to do it, you'll know how to do it forever. It's not some hard task or anything like that, but I do think it's really important. So again, practicing retracting that arrow back to its resting position, Number 9. All right, guys, number 8, something I recently started doing literally just like a couple of weeks ago. Draw and release quick. What do I mean by that? When I'm on the ground, I'll literally have my target set out somewhere. I'll walk, I'll range, I'll draw, and I'll release quick. Okay, let's walk through those steps really quick. I will walk to whatever distance I need to walk to. I will range really quick. I'll grab my rangefinder, range it, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw quick, locate that pin, and fire. What's that simulating? For one, it's distracting me. I'm distracting myself on purpose. You never know what's gonna happen. Maybe you have a raccoon come in the tree while you're in the tree, but at the same time a buck's coming. Or maybe a squirrel grabs your attention. We've all had that happen. And then all of a sudden the buck that you're after, it's coming and it's on you and it's getting late. And you need to hurry up and draw and shoot the buck. You know what I mean? So that's simulating, whatever the situation is, it's putting you in a rush. But are you able to locate that pin? Are you able to draw efficiently? Are you able to locate the pin and then put it where it's supposed to be and then fire the arrow in a timely manner? That's what that's for. So again, draw and release quick. That is something that may need to be high on the list now that I'm thinking about it, because it's really important, and it really does. Obviously the walking and all that stuff, unless you're doing like some kind of stalk hunt or something like that, doesn't really simulate what you do in the stand. But anytime you can put yourself under duress and come out with an accurate shot, I think you're not doing anything but helping yourself. So again, draw and release quick. Guys, try that. Tell me what you think in the comments about that particular one. Personally for me, because that's something, again, I've just started doing out of the blue. Like literally I was like, man, I'm just gonna put my rangefinder up, see what range I'm at, and fire an arrow. And then I did it for the next 2 arrows, and I just kept going back from there. I think I started at like 18 yards, random yardages as well. 18 yards, the next one was like 27, the next one was like 34, and the next one was, I don't know, 42, somewhere around there. I never practiced outside of, I don't know, 50. Sometimes I'll shoot a 60-yarder, but really 50 is really my max, just to see where I'm at, just in case I do need to shoot that 50-yard shot. It had to be a really, really big deer for me to shoot a 50-yard shot, especially here in Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma. Woods are thick, and they don't call it green country for nothing, so you rarely have a 50-yard shot available anyway. Anyway, off task. Draw and release quick. Tell me what you guys think about it. All right, guys, number 7, okay, something that's very, very important, something that we all know about, and that's weather-related practicing. For example, right now, late evening here in Oklahoma, it's getting dark. 20 minutes from now, we might be at the last few minutes of shooting light. You know what I mean? So are you equipped to shoot in those conditions? That's something you practice. You don't wait. Hopefully you don't wait till the biggest buck of your life is in front of you and decide to shoot with 2 minutes to spare before light is over. Practice that, guys. That is very important. Practice it in the morning. Light's a little different early in the morning than it is late at night. Practice them both. I would also recommend you practicing with rain. Obviously not heavy rain. You want to take care of your equipment. You don't want to be out here getting soaked either. I would practice whenever it's sprinkling. I've done that before, just to get you used to it. Can you keep your focus on that big buck that you got sitting in front of you while raindrop is, dashing on your neck or hitting you on your face? Or even better, what about if a mosquito is, a little bit off topic, has nothing to do with weather, but what if mosquito is on your neck right now while you're practicing? Are you just going to retract that draw and get that mosquito? Because it's probably what you're going to revert to when you're in the stand and that mosquito is on the back of your neck early deer season when mosquitoes and ticks are still out. Practice those things, man. I know it may sound ridiculous to some, but I'm all about practicing what could happen. You know what I mean? And these are things that could happen. Again, weather-related practicing. You guys should do it at night, prior to night, early in the morning, and whenever there's a little rain, little precipitation, wind. Obviously, wind is a big deal. Practice when it's windy. I've done that a lot. Practice when it's windy. If you're in a windy state, practice. Illinois, my Illinois guys, we get a lot of wind here just as much as you guys do up there Big bucks up there, by the way. Great state. Illinois and Indiana, you guys are really starting to shoot up the map, catching up with Iowa. But anyway, a little off topic. Practicing the wind, okay? Really do that, man. That's really big. Again, weather related, practicing, do it. All right, guys, something that a lot of people have been discussing lately is shooting pretty much double what you would shoot normally, as far as range is concerned. So if you say, I'm never going to shoot outside of 30 yards, then you probably should shoot from 60. I wasn't really a firm believer in that until I started doing it. I said that I would never take a shot over 40. Now, I didn't double it and start shooting from 80. But every now and then I'll shoot from 60, and I shoot from 50 just about every other time I practice. And one thing that I have noticed, like they said it would do, it has increased my accuracy at the shorter distances. How does it do that? It's making me focus on the target and the pin, for lack of better terms, the target and the pin a lot better. My arrow groups are a lot tighter now, and it has to be because I'm shooting from further distances. So that is something I strongly suggest you should do. Shooting from further distances is I would say that's a must. Talk to guys that you're friends with or that are at the archery clubs and all that good stuff. Talk to those guys and ask them what they're doing. Again, don't hone in on everything that has to do with equipment. You know what I mean? That is, I keep touching on that for a reason. Just stay with me. I'll come back to that. But don't just hone in on equipment when you guys go to those archery shops. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am the first guy to go to an archery shop and get my bow fixed. I'm not the guy that fixes his own bow. That's just not me. That's not something that I'm real proficient in, and I'm not really good at, so I don't do it. It's that simple. So while you guys at those archery shops, man, that is a great place to pick people's brains. So yeah, like I said, go ahead and do that. Shoot from further distances, even if it's not comfortable, even if you may lose a couple of arrows. Did that. So I'm not just saying that just because. Definitely did that. All right, guys, number 5, very important for me. Very, 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 very important for me. I've seen a couple of guys mention it lately. This is something that I have always done because I think it is the most realistic thing that we can do. Number 5, which could easily for me be number 1. If somebody wanted to say, hey, that should be number 1, I would not argue with you at all. Number 5, when you go to practice, okay, and you knock that arrow in your bow, all right, that very first shot is your most important shot. What do you mean by that? What I mean is that's pretty much how it's going to be when you get in the stand and you get in the woods and you go hunt, right? Very rarely do we get a second or third opportunity to shoot a buck, especially with a bow, right? That first arrow is the most important shot you can have. No questions asked. Guys, when you go practice and you get in the stand, or if you're on the ground and you're just shooting at targets from your ground, I don't care. Anytime you pick up that bow to shoot for the very first time that day, whatever day it is, don't care what the weather is, don't care the time of the day, don't care about any of that. Make sure you put that very first arrow where it needs to be, okay? Do that. I take pride in that. That's one thing. If I miss my shot on my first arrow when I come practice, there's a couple of times where I've been like, I think I'm ready to go in, because it's just going to affect my shooting down the line. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come out, put that arrow in, be ready to go, focus up, and put that arrow where it needs to be, okay? Number 5, I'm telling you, it could easily be number 1. Number 5, your first arrow is your best, okay? It's the most important arrow that you're gonna shoot every day, the very first one. Take care of that first shot, guys. All right, guys, number 4. This is something that I kind of always done, but this season I've really kind of like been more specific mentally, and I guess you want to say visually. You'll see what I mean here in a minute, whenever I'm practicing. And what I'm talking about is pretty much making up a scenario while you're practicing. It sounds corny, cheesy, maybe unnecessary to some, maybe laughable, but for me, it puts me in the right place mentally. And I've been pretty much just making up scenarios. For example, I get my rangefinder and I may range something and pretend like it's the deer. And I'll range it, I'll say, all right, it's 85 yards away. I'll grab my bow. I'll go ahead and clip my release on, and or backtrack. I'll hold my bow. I have my release on my wrist, not clipped on yet, and I'll pretend like the deer is walking towards me. I'll pretend like the deer stops to graze. I'll pretend like the deer stops to make a scrape, or check a scrape, or rub, or something. And then I'll pretend like he's getting closer. And then I'll make sure whenever he gets to my shooting range, I'll range him. Then I'll clip on my release. Then I'll draw back my bow. Then I'll say, oh man, that doe's in the way. Or, oh, he's almost here, but this doe, she's got a beat on me. If I move at all, you know, she may blow. So I can't move. I gotta wait till he gets to my window, and then I'll release the arrow then. You know, those are things that actually happen, right? So again, I know it sounds corny, but making up a scenario, you don't have to do it every shot. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying every now and then while you're practicing, just make up a scenario and pretend like, you know, you're putting yourself in those stressful situations. Are you still going to be nervous when you shoot? Yep. Could you expose yourself and see that you probably need to work on them, and then trick yourself into thinking, oh, that's just, I'll get it when it's time. When it's real life, I'll get it. Okay, if you say so. You know, like, guys, practice these situations. I'm so sorry, the locusts in the background and all this other stuff going on in the background, but practice those things, guys. Scenarios. I've got a target buck that I'm after this year. I've got a few actually that I'm after this year, but one in particular, man, I've put a scenario in my head every day that I practice with him in it. Every day. So, scenario based, man. Do it. Number 3, this is one that I think is really popular. Guys, I think, are really starting to do it now, especially you mobile hunters out there with your hanging hut stands. Even if you could be shooting you could be sitting on the ground. It doesn't matter. Anytime you go hunting, this is pretty much number 3, which is keep your gear in order, and which the way that you're going to use it. Approach the stand with everything where it needs to be. Approach the stand knowing where everything is, and do that repeatedly. And the best way to do that whenever you get into the stand come hunting season is to do it right now, once again, during practice time. I think you guys really should do that if you're not doing it. If you're just winging it and you're just going to get your targets and you're going out to shoot and then you're going back in, and there's no really like mental preparation or steps you should take while you're going out to hunt, or going out to shoot rather, for practice, I think you're doing it wrong. And I think this is definitely a very, 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 very important step, especially if you like to go early in the morning when it's pitch black dark, like me. So if you're a mobile hunter this year and it's your first year, and you're carrying in all this gear for the first time, don't let the first time that you hang your stand be when you go hunting. Don't let the first time that you hang your stand in the dark be when you go hunting. Do it now. Yeah, it takes work. Yeah, it takes a little time. But if you want to be efficient in the hunting that you're going to be doing, do it, and do it now. You guys still got time, right? It's August. Do it now. Some states down south, I know you guys are, I think I've seen South Carolina actually started hunting this week, yesterday, the 15th. I think today's the 16th. Anyway, they started hunting on August 15th, which is mind-blowing. I would be sweating my tail off right now here in Oklahoma if we hunted that early. But anyway, off track once again, sorry about that. But practice what you're going to do is what all of this is really about. Practice what you're going to do. And hang and hunt, mobile hunting efficiency is very, very important. Very, very important. Especially if you're hunting public land. Very, very important. Do it. Get in the stand quietly, efficiently, and go get that big buck. I want to see everybody get a big buck, man. Just not mine. But no, I'm just kidding. Go get those big bucks, man. The best way you're going to do it is by preparing yourself right now. So just get it done, man. Again, preparing yourself every day, getting in the stand, having all your gear organized, lined out. Even like right now, I'm practicing with my rangefinder on my neck. Why is that important? It kind of affects me when I'm shooting. I can feel the weight of this, which is not very heavy. It's not even a pound. I can feel the weight of it on my neck, and I can tell the difference between when I'm shooting with it and when I'm shooting without it. So I practice with it. Something you really should do, you know. So anything you can do, once again, to help you in the season, do it now. All right, number 2, very, very important, very, very common. This is not shocking to anybody, but something that I do not take lightly, and that's practicing at all different angles, different ranges, and positions, right? So for example, right now I am in my stand and it is not hunting season. Why am I practicing in my stand? Because it's what I'm going to be doing during hunting season, right? If I was going to be hunting in a ghillie suit, which I'm not, but if I was, I would have my ghillie suit on, believe it or not. I would do it early in the morning, probably. But I would have my ghillie suit on out here hunting in my ghillie suit. You know, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to practice with gloves on. I did not feel comfortable shooting my bow last year with my gloves that I have. I didn't feel comfortable shooting with them, so I didn't shoot with them, and my hands froze. So that's something that I'm going to practice with here pretty soon. Practicing from a sitting position from my stand. That's something I take pride in, because sometimes you never know. Maybe that buck's going to sneak up on you, like we talked about a couple of times already, and you don't have time to stand up. All you have time for is to grab your bow, put your release on, draw, and shoot. If you stand, 1, you might spook him because he's already up on you. 2, you might not have enough time to get the shot off if you stand, right? So practice everything that could possibly happen. Not necessarily go wrong. It's just part of hunting, but practice everything that can happen. Very, very important. Again, you guys should try that, different angles. Don't just, even though right now I have my target. See if you guys can see it. See it down there. Got my target down there. I also have a Glendale big buck, just not up. I just have the 6x6 big block out right now. But even if you have your target in front of you, don't just shoot directly in front all the time. Move it to a 45-degree angle. Move it directly under the stand, you know? Move it at distances that make you not comfortable, right? Position yourself in different ways. Don't just go out and practice straight ahead from the ground, releasing arrows, thinking you got it 100% down, and then you get in the stand and crap hits the fan. Don't do it, man. Practice what you can practice. Make up stuff. Being creative is what leads you to a different avenue into finding out new things. So do it. Try it out, man. All right, guys, number 1. I've touched on it secretly in a way on a couple of the countdowns earlier. This is probably going to be number 1 for me all time. It'll probably never change. I know I mentioned, I forgot what it was earlier, number 5. Oh, shooting your first arrow, making it your best shot. I know I mentioned that probably be number 1, but now that I'm thinking about it, number 1 for me will never change. It will never, ever, ever change. And I preached on it last year on the video when I was talking about targets on my Let's Talk Targets video. Go check that out, by the way. It's a really good video. It'll save you guys some money if you're new into hunting and you don't know much about targets. It's about the Glendale big buck and the 6x6 block. Go check it out. But I'm just gonna jump right to it. Number 1 is use the gear that's best for you. Sounds really simple. Sounds obvious. But I guarantee you, and I know some people that are using bows, arrows, and broadheads, and it could be anything. Range finders, it could be boots, anything, man. Like, don't get sold on everything that you see on YouTube, including by me. You know, if you don't feel comfortable with something, go do your own research. You know, you do not have to do everything that you see on YouTube. You don't have to go get the $2,000 Matthews bow. You don't have to go get the $2,000 Hoyt bow to knock down a big buck. That's my 2 cents for me. Now, are some of those bows a little more helpful than others? Obviously. Okay. Are those bows great? Obviously. That's not the point. The point is be the hunter that you want to be. Okay. You don't have to go out and try to be like the guys from Midwest Whitetail all the time. Stop. Not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm just saying be you. Be you. Use the equipment that's best for you, because at the end of the day, when you're up 20 feet in that tree and that Boone and Crockett comes standing broadside, only you can help you, right? And your gear is going to help you too. So hopefully you've chose the gear that best fits you and you've practiced with it. Don't misunderstand that at all, guys. It is so important. So important. Make sure that you are using the gear that best fits you, period. If you have questions about something, either do your homework by looking at reviews. If you're skeptical about something, do your homework looking at reviews, and then go try it out. Go to an archery shop and try those things out, whatever you're skeptical about. They'll let you do it. But that's very important, man. Very, very, very important. There's a lot of guys out there right now. I've seen it, I've experienced it, I still see it and experience it, that they're just trying to be whoever they see on TV and on YouTube. And last year I had a couple of buddies, I ain't gonna say no names, that missed big bucks because they were using equipment that they weren't accustomed to. Here's the deal. If you're going to go out and buy all this expensive equipment that you think is going to be best for you, that's cool. Make sure you practice with it. Practice before you just jump in the woods, man. It's very important. Do it. It ain't going to do nothing but save you heartache, headache, sleep, checking yourself into rehab. Don't do it, man. Practice with what you're going to use. I'm never going to get in the stand with some equipment that I've never used, that I've never practiced with, ever. Not going to happen. Whether it be safety equipment, bow equipment, arrows, broadheads, whatever else, rangefinders, don't matter. I'm never going to just hop in the stand in the woods and put myself in that position, because me knowing me, I'm going to be pissed if I miss the buck of my life because I'm not practicing with the equipment that I'm using. So that is the top 10 countdown. It's getting dark, as you guys can see. So I'm gonna have to get down out of the stand. I might shoot a couple more arrows real quick. But just want to make a top 10 list for you guys. I think there's something for everybody in that top 10 list. Not all 10 you're gonna agree with, maybe not even 9 or not even half, you know. You might just agree with 1 or 2 things in that list, but there's something for everybody in that list. Take it and apply it to your practicing, guys. I'm telling you, it's gonna help. Leave in the comments what you're gonna apply to your hunting this season and your preparation this year, and share it with us, guys. Go to the websites, Let's Talk Outdoors. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok. The Instagram and the TikTok, a little slow moving right now. I do work, so not a lot of time on my hands right now, but I will get a lot of content on there. Facebook is where it's at right now, and so is YouTube. Obviously, Let's Talk Outdoors on YouTube. Like and subscribe that, guys. I got a lot more videos, better content coming. I'm gonna do some more mobile hunts this year while filming, so self-film hunts are coming. Really, really excited, guys. But again, like and subscribe this video, and stick with me, man. A lot of content coming. Let's talk. Peace.